Hello, 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 hello. Yes, we are here with CHA's Truth Seeker podcast. Ooh, I'm going to share with y'all how God revealed this to me because, this is so, all right, because as we continue to learn more about our autonomic nervous system and how it responds to frequencies and foods and things like that, yeah, see, that's where we're at in the detox. And so as we do that, we're going to start to notice our body responding to certain sounds and things like that. And so, like, okay, I was just becoming more aware. All about that heightened awareness. All right, let those notifications go out. I'm going to go ahead and do our typical check because this is huge. This is, oh my goodness. And it just reveals more how the enemy continues to manipulate. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Continues to manipulate. There we go. Because remember, it's narcissistic abuse on the societal level, y'all. See, once we see it on the individual level, right? And we learn more red flags and we start to see them on the societal level, we can't ignore that. And then we understand that radio frequency, the reason, listen, it was the ex-psycho roommate who basically, yeah, remember, these narcissists, they tell us who the devil is and what the enemy is doing. Okay, we got to pay attention. So as he was trying to electrocute me, yeah, I caught him coming out of the bedroom with some big old flashlight, right? He didn't know I was on the toilet in the dark, going to the bathroom. And I went, oh, and I found things in my room and all of that he was tampering with. And then when I got out of there and when I got out of there and into the last place, I had to replace a lot of things. I had to do a lot of reinvestigating. I had to replace my guitar, for crying out loud. He put a little metal magnet in that. So with all of that, I took a crash course in Physics 101. I learned about the law of reflection. I learned about radio frequency poisoning. That was the start of it all. And so now God's helping me connect those little dots to the societal level because we are exposed to RF all around us every day. Now, the more aware we become, the less we will be influenced negatively by it. All right. So let's get these formalities out of the way. Hello, Chris. Everybody, come on in. Come on in. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Truth Seeker podcast, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequency poisoning for healthier living. Trauma healing and spiritual growth occur with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true techniques, and more here and at CHA Academy, btbw.com. The link to the Academy is listed below. Some of y'all may need to copy and paste the link to view what CHA Academy, btbw.com offers to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth while combating radio frequency poisoning for healthier living. That's the movement, you all. Oh, it's more than a mission now. Oh my gosh, God said it's always been more than a mission. I just didn't know that I was going to end up going through a third detox. But you know what? It's a good thing. I'm looking at the lessons now because the second one wasn't as long. It was more from those people, the Jezebels and the narcissists in that last toxic workplace I was in. Right. Because they knew I was on a lower sodium diet with the blood type diet. So they were putting salt in my water. Oh, yeah. That one Jezebel, let me tell y'all, she knew she screwed up because I could feel it in my body. You see, I was on the blood type diet for several years. So I was still on it while working there. And so I could feel certain things in my body. I'm going, wait a minute. That shouldn't be happening. like a little bit of swelling on the inside. I'm like, that shouldn't be happening. A little bit of heat. I'm like, that shouldn't be happening. And so I'm aware. And so I didn't know what they were doing yet until one day I used to take, in fact, I'll show y'all. And this is the tip that I have for you all in one of our videos on this channel, where I share with you all some tips if you are still in a workplace where there are narcissists, a toxic workplace like that. See, it was this. And so all they were doing, I took my water in them, right? And so all they had to do was, when I would go up the hill to the restroom, all they had to do was dump a little salt in the water. Well, one day, the head Jezebel screwed up. And so when I came back from the bathroom, I took a sip. I was like, whoa, am I drinking the ocean or what? So I said, aha. So then I knew what was going on, and I stopped taking that. I started taking unopened bottles of water. That way, if I came back and the cap, I would know not to drink that. So that caught my attention. I was like, okay, so that just had me, learning, wait a minute, what this obsession with salt? Why were they putting salt in my food and my water? What is the obsession? What is the enemy's obsession with salt? So that's how it all started. And so I started learning more about it. I went, oh. And then when God revealed to me that salt is your body's thermostat, I went, aha, that makes sense. Then he reminded me of my forensic toxicology, metals, okay, the metal toxicity chapters, because I had to take, that's right, I had to take a course for that. I also had to take pharmacology courses. So a lot of things. I was like, okay. I'm starting to connect the dots. And then as I started paying closer attention to how my body was ridding of certain things, the coloration, and then learning that Jesus cleans everything, and that it's a make-believe world out there. And so it's just all part of getting that heightened awareness. And so I was on my walk, and the siren. Many of us would never stop to think twice about it, because it's a sound that we're so used to hearing whenever a police officer is, chasing after somebody, whatever, they blare their sirens, right? That high frequency. Okay. I can't do it exact, but y'all get the point. Fire trucks do the same thing, right? All of the things out there that have the high frequency siren, and then it's got that low. It's designed to do that constant high, low, because God revealed to me that the high frequency is used to tense up the upper of the tailbone, okay, for the nervous system. This is part of the manipulation of the ANS, because the enemy needs our autonomic nervous system to be living in fear first before we could. You see, we would never think about this, but it is radio frequency manipulation of the ANS. Awareness, y'all. And so I was like, okay, because if you've got mental molecules, and for those of you on the detox journey with us, this is normal. This is normal, okay? Because it happened to me this morning on my walk. But I knew what it was. So for those of you who may not know, let's say you're out and about, okay? And you're getting your walk in, your exercise, or your leisure walking, as long as you're doing something, right? And you happen to be in an area where one of those vehicles with siren comes by and doing that, you will notice that where places of injury may be, or the places where, because the metal molecules are going to travel or traverse, there's a new word for y'all, okay, to an area of injury. It's usually going to be with fatty tissue. Now, if there's no area of injury, it'll be in fatty tissue. So basically, the way to change that thinking, if that goes by, But you'll notice it's going to lessen and lessen as your body detoxes, okay? Because it kind of like gives you chill bumps, what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? But what that's doing is the frequency is activating those metals, okay? Just bear with me. And if the metal was heated and large enough, that's when you would feel an ache or a pain. It's coming from the heat, not from anything else. The heat that's associated and needed from the salt that's inside the body. Okay? So when one of those vehicles with a siren goes by, and if you kind of feel that, that's part of the detox. Now, in the very beginning, I had more places where those things were. So I can tell you that over time, as our body gets rid of the excess, that kind of ANS response to the frequency, because you're aware of them, right? It'll come to pass. It's just trying to trick the ANS into thinking that it needs to fear. Think about how many times before we know about all this, how many times were we driving down the road before God awakened us because of how the world conditioned us to also be like subconsciously afraid of getting pulled over or whatever, but we're not doing anything wrong, right? Okay. So how many times did, when we see one get behind us, how many times did we tense up a little and our hands got a little sweaty? Come on now. All right, let's be honest. So we overcome that. All right, we do. When God awakens us and we realize that, because that's all part of the conditioning of the ANS to respond that way to a perceived threat, real or not. And so this is not a coincidence with the high and low frequency, because remember, the lower frequency is for the area of your buttocks where you will eliminate through your bowels. You will eliminate the toxin. Think about that. Okay, so constant manipulation of the high frequency of the ANS with high frequency and low frequency like that, okay? A high siren, and then it's gonna no different than this fire drill here. Fire drill, higher frequency on the inside, go outside, and the alarm on the outside is That's to manipulate the ANS. Okay? To get it to live in fear. Now let me see your comments here. Excellent impression. Hey, thank you. I'm doing my best to give y'all the perspective, to give y'all that knowledge and let you ponder over that, because when God revealed that to me, and you are going to hear more about this in the future, because we're just now uncovering the dots, basically, of what's happening. After all, we are truth seekers. Okay? We are truth seekers. So this is part of God's spiritual truth, because I was like, oh, well, that makes sense, because if that high frequency is to get the upper tailbone to tense up, right? Keep it tense. Okay, hey, Nat, where you at? What? The bananas are over there. They're over there. Oh, boy. Anyway, those gnats, they love that carbon dioxide. Anyhow. That high frequency, all right, tense up. Right there at the top of the tailbone. That high frequency is designed to tense it up. The low frequency is designed for where your bowel, where the exit is. All right. Keep that area tense. What is that area also connected to? Exactly. Our urinary system. That's the other place through our urine is where we will eliminate And I was looking in my toxicology book for you, Chris, and everybody else, as far as the things that may be in your water, in your area. It could be a number of things. I know for here, and I think it's going to depend on the jurisdiction, and it likely will depend on the availability of certain chemicals and what their reasoning behind that is. Here, I can smell the sulfur in the water. Okay, so I know that. I know where I used to live, I could smell the chlorine or chloride. So it really it could be a number of things. It could be lead. It could be, oh my gosh, mercury. It could be all kinds of things. Metals included, yeah. Lead, mercury, those are metals. And remember, I have figured out that mercury is what responds to the higher frequencies. It's not the only metal that does. But right now, the two associations I have is that thallium, it responds more to the lower frequency. Mercury responds to the higher frequency. So there's some food for thought. We're still working on that. I'm going to bring y'all some more. Yeah, because we're going to have to conduct an experiment ourselves. And it's going to be fun. So to kind of get an idea of what is inside our body toxin-wise, because if we're getting that like goosebump sensation down the backside when we hear the siren, but it's not, I mean, it's like, yeah, we're keeping the spiritual and the physical separated. You got to keep the spiritual and the physical separated so we can catch this stuff and not let the physical trick us. That's what the enemy's trying to do. So basically, keep that area and the urinary area tense with the constant manipulation with that radio frequency, high to low. It's no different than the trauma bonding process with the love bomb devalue, right? Constant push pull. Come on, y'all, connect these dots. We're just going deeper with where it all starts, because the ANS has to get manipulated to living in fear first. Okay? And the autonomic nervous system is not protected by organ and bone. So that's why it's the easiest target. And so it gets conditioned to automatically associate those sirens because of the constant manipulation of the system. It starts to associate the high to the low frequency, that sound with when, okay, we get it. It rightfully so, But if it's not us in that vehicle that's making the noise, we and our ANS should not even be anywhere near okay? Because it's got nothing to do with us. But you see, since we know we are living on a planet that likes to play the game of narcissism to get people to think that things are about them when they're not, well, same concept applies to the autonomic nervous system response to certain things, right? All part of it conditioning to get it to live in fear for no reason. Because I'm on my walk, right? I'm not in that vehicle making that siren, right? I'm not in there. So it ain't got nothing to do with me. But the ANS don't know that because it got conditioned that to associate that sound with or to associate, even if the siren's not going off and the lights are not blinking and one gets behind her, just the visual over time causes the ANS to go, when you're going the speed limit, you ain't got nothing in your car you shouldn't have. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know that, but the ANS does not. I'm going to let that sink in. I know that's a lot to unpack, a lot of connection to make to the game of narcissism, but I mean, love, bomb, devalue. That's that constant push-pull, the high and low, the hot to cold behavior of narcissists, right? No different. High frequency, hot. Low frequency, cold, right? Or vice versa, whatever, but hot to cold. High and low frequency. This is why we don't hear many things in the alto frequency unless I'm singing and other altos are singing. But our system don't, because the sounds that we hear, like my phone notification that I have on the business phone, yeah, they're in normal range. Alto is pretty much a normal frequency range. So our body not going to respond in any negative way. It's not going to perceive that as a threat because it wasn't conditioned with the frequencies that are in the normal range. It's only conditioned with frequencies outside of the normal range. High and low. The previous environment I was in, a lot of the frequency was the low. Yes, the previous environment that I was in, a lot of the because the oxygen tanks and stuff like that for them, okay, the frequency was out of range in the low. So God revealed to me that even though I'm becoming more aware and we're seeing what's going on all around us and everything, my autonomic nervous system was recognizing the threat of radio frequency again. And at that time, I was not aware of it yet. You see, this is why that incident when I closed the Jezebel case study, this is why it's a blessing in disguise, because I don't know if I would ever be able to make these connections if I didn't have to go through sort of a physical rebirth, okay, to discover this. So I'm loving every minute because I'm like, wow, that's quite the connection. I can bring it to y'all because if you're going to go through the detoxing from radio frequency poisoning, you will start to notice certain body movements to certain sounds, right? So that's why it's like we must be able to distinguish, okay? We got to be able to be aware of how our body is responding to food and frequency. Because I got to share with y'all that God revealed to me that a lot of the things that the world, see, this is part of purging that subconscious of worldly garbage so we don't tell ourselves these things anymore because they're not true. Remember, what a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. All right, the enemy knows. That's why I've got so many things, but nothing new, but so many things that we used to associate, like certain body responses to certain food. We have to unlearn that. We have got to unlearn that. I know. There's going to be a while for some people. It's how I discovered that I am not lactose intolerant, like the world tried to tell me I was. Because why would my body reject the digestive enzyme lactase? It's the blood type diet for me had a lot of dairy on the avoid list, not because of the lactose, but because of metabolic inhibitors, meaning there's something inside certain cheeses and dairy products that can interfere with proper digestion. Makes more sense to me because I never had an issue eating cheese growing up. And then even today, if I do splurge on an avoid, okay, because cheese is calcium. And so our body, listen, y'all, for whoever needs this, you're going to learn more about this, but I know I dropped tips here and there, and that's why we're going to bring all of them to you all, okay, in one nice little package deal. So thank you for your patience. But as they come out, I want to go ahead and give you these tips. Listen to God. That's your body talking. That's God talking. So when I was at the store, okay, yeah, when I was at the store yesterday, and I was like, okay, I know I want to get, or the day before, excuse me. When I was at the store the day before, I said, I know I want to get some hamburger meat, and because I wanted to make a specific dish that called for that. I said, okay. And God spoke up, and he said, and normally I would not do this because on the blood type diet, or type O, I'm supposed to stay with the lean, as lean as possible, beef. And so if I cannot locate grass-fed steaks or what have you, when I pick one out, it's in Dr. De Adamo's encyclopedia and books that I've got, where I read that if I'm unable to obtain grass-fed, then I want to look for a steak that had the least amount of marbling. And I now know why, because there's a salt. Fat is where salt. Think about it in our body, right? Fatty tissue serves as a nice spot for the salty mucus house for metamolecules. So as we are burning, okay, as we are detoxing and burning old fats to get rid of those toxins, okay, our body is going to tell us, okay, yeah, but we do need, and Chris, we talked about this, we do need a certain amount of animal fats for our tissues and our joint and ligament. And so it's like the body's talking to me, and so I was like, okay, I see. So what am I going to get? And God told me get the 85-15. I normally would not get that as part of the diet, but he told me to. And so I want y'all to know that God will do that. Listen to him. If you're at the store and he tells you to get that, and you normally would not, there's a reason. And so when I had my burger for lunch with that, had a little bit more animal fat to it, the soothing, if my body said, that's it. And it took it. I could feel it biologically. It's like the body just took it. I was like, okay, do not argue with your body when it tells you, especially during the detox. I mean, you're like, yeah, I know we're trying to get rid of all that fat with the, right, but here's the thing, that new animal fat, all right, right, because you are continuing to burn and exercise and tone up, it's going to go where it needs to go to lubricate your joints and ligaments. Yeah, so I did. I had a little moment with the body. I was like, oh, you needed a little bit of oil. I got you. You know, make me think of the Wizard of Oz and Tin Man. I'm just saying. All right, so, right, because I could tell as soon as it hit, we're not eating for the taste per se. Really, no. We're not eating to feed the flesh. We're focused on the nutritional aspect because God told me the same concept applies. When you go online and you do the research, because I found this, and one of the ways to rid the body of excess water is to drink more water, right? And it's true. So if that's true, I said to myself, all right, then so we are detoxing. And there will be times where God will have you increase. Remember, he will have you increase the sodium back a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit, because it is a necessary electrolyte. Think about it. If you're walking and working out, okay, you still got to replenish. So this is why we're not going to go a day with no sodium intake. No. We're just low sodium or lower. Because God's going to take us down to a sodium level of, I know I did several days at no more than 300 milligrams for the day, just to get started. And so I know today I'm already at 500 because we're working the muscles. I'm taking the little 3-pounder with me on my walks, right? Oh yeah, we burn it. Okay. So the body's like, okay, I see you burning the old. I gotta get some new. So basically, getting a little additional, because I had gone for chicken wing twice in 1 week, and I said, okay, hold up a second. I know that I like wing, but I need the chicken and the protein. But what? Oh, a little bit of animal fat. It needed, yeah, okay, because we are up in the ante a little bit with the weights and things to burn that fat. Because when you burn that fat, that fatty tissue, you burn that fat, that metal molecule got to get back into circulation so you can urinate it or pass it the other way. And then never forget, if you are feeling, okay, if you're starting to notice that the mucus, okay, is running, that's a good thing. Because that's all part of the detoxing. Spit it out. Because that's just letting you know that your circulation is improving. Because it would not be like that. And it should, at this point, or some point, it should be running. It should not be clumpy. So if it's still clumpy, well, then that means you just got more metal to get out. Eventually, the mucus, as your circulation improves, it's going to be running. And so, as gross as it sounds, trash can, toilet, okay, you got to get it out. You don't want that excess. That's what's happening is circulation is improving, and so it's now getting the excessive mucus out. Okay, because remember, before we realized that we were getting the top of our head cooked, I didn't realize because I did not start. None of that started until a few weeks ago for me. So y'all are not alone. Because I was not waking up with, I was not waking up with a whole lot of any of that. Because it was still like fried, if you will. It was still fried. So now as we continue to put nutrition back in, if the body tells you, that God taught him, if he tells you, get a little extra animal fat, it's okay. Because that just means that the body says, okay, I'm ready for some new, fresh animal fat that it needs for oiling the joints, right? But also to help push out the old that you're burning. Your biological body knows what to do with this stuff, okay? So just, I wanted to give y'all that because it's very important. So, yeah. Yes, the atmosphere with siren and alarm and stuff like that. Could put up a sign for those gnats. Okay, right. I think I'm gonna take a little glass and pour just a little bit of honey in there and let the honey catch them. Oh, that'll work. Right, you do need some animal fats for the brain as well. Absolutely, for cognitive function. So there you go. Because I know that after I ate that burger for lunch, I went, okay. All right. So it's like your body just knows. All right. And so we have to listen to it. Because it's also necessary to get that animal protein for locus of control so that you have control over yourself and you have that kind. You see how you're able to move that? Okay, we should be able to do that. That's called locus of control. So, right, get the Hoover and vacuum them up. No, not the honey. I'll put it down the garbage disposal. But yeah, I had to bring this to y'all's attention and awareness because it's very important to understand that on the societal level, it starts all of this traumatization. It starts with the manipulation of the ANS. And so, how do we? It's repetition, right? Think about all the subliminal messages that get into the subconscious, right? And it's through repetition. Okay, so how do we can actually just remind ourselves, breathe in, relax. Because the more we tell ourselves relax, the more the ANS relaxes. Right, proper circulation. Because it's only through proper circulation that our body can get the nutrients it needs where it needs it. And so for so for any of you who may be experiencing something similar, I mean, I know that right now where we're at, it's just a matter of bruising that are healing. That's all in certain places. And so wherever there's a little bruise, I automatically know, oh, there's some metamolecules there because that's where they'll travel. And then where there's fatty tissue, there may not be a bruise, but there's fatty tissue. So you got a little bit going on there as to where the radio frequency poisoning ends up and what it does. Okay, because all the frequencies are supposed to kind of like activate those metamolecules. And if you've got the right salt amount, it heats it and it expands. That's what causes the pain. Alrighty then. I'm gonna go get that little thing of honey. I'm gonna keep talking. All right, y'all. But seriously, this information is very, very important, especially during the detox, because you don't want to get tricked into thinking that you got something going on that you don't. Again, you gotta have that discernment. All right, everybody, you've got to have that discernment. I'm gonna go ahead and make it clear one more time. Well, I'm going to make it clear as often as necessary because we don't want anyone to get tricked up. There we go. And I'm going to leave that on the counter. Just a little bit of honey in a cup. One of them little dipping cups. And let's see if it'll go on over there. All right. And because disclaimer here. That none of what we are doing at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA, right, and the Academy, none of what we're doing is a replacement for a necessary and needed intervention, okay, medical or otherwise. Our ministry and work and the courses and things like that are not a replacement, again, for needed or necessary intervention. Whatever intervention is needed and necessary. All right. It's all about that discernment. And so, like our fellow warrior, Chris here, sent me an email asking me about, maybe it won't go to the honey as long as I'm talking. They really do like carbon dioxide, y'all. CO2. That's what a lot of parasites like that are attracted to. It's the toxin coming out. Think about it. Yeah, I've been on walks and not just gnats, but little sweat bees. Oh yeah, they love to hang around if you exhaling a lot like you should. They like to hang out there for a little bit. They like that CO2. Anyhow, yes. All right. So if you have something going on that is more severe in nature, in reality, not a perceived Remember, the enemy likes to trick us into thinking that things are worse than they really are, especially going through the detox. That's why I advise to take a moment and analyze. Go, hold on a second, because it doesn't make any sense that you're going about your day, right? Yeah, you're going about your day. You're doing all right. You did the daily self-check-in. You're working out that salvation with the Heavenly Father, seeking ye first the kingdom of God, and all is well, right? And then out of the blue, no, that doesn't make sense. That's why if an out of the blue thing happens, stop and go, wait a second. Analyze, because you're going through the detoxing, so you're going to feel some pains and pains every now and again. And so, okay, because your body's healing, but out of the blue to try and make you think that, no, it's not. So what I'm referring to are minor aches and pains, y'all. I'm referring to minor strains. Okay, those of us who are athletic, I guess, if you will, or well, we are avid workout people, and we used to play sports. So we're not a stranger to minor strains and sprains and stuff like that. We know how to take care of ourselves. That's what we're talking about. That's the level of ache and pain I'm referring to. Because it's not going to be way severe, because your body is only going to listen. God's not going to put your body in shock. But I will tell you, we'll go through rounds. Okay? You will go through different rounds. Add the body internal salt level decreases. Okay? You will go through different rounds. So you can think of it this way. Okay? Because this is the best way to help put it in perspective. You know how the world, okay? I never, when I started learning about this, I had a question. I said, why are you using radio frequency radiation to try and treat something that is caused by radio frequency poisoning? Yeah, that whole what chemo thing? Yeah, that's radio frequency poisoning. Hello, newsflash. Trying to treat what is caused by the very cognitive dissonance in action. Yeah. Because I was like, hold up a second. So, because we know in God's reality what all goes down with that, and we're still learning, by the way. So we're going to go through rounds like somebody who accepts that label about themselves goes through rounds of that, okay? And only if they are a good lab rat do they get cured. We're going to go through rounds similar, but for the better, okay? Because we're detoxing as the body gets rid of excess, a little at a time. But you will start to notice, and I know, Chris, I know you have now, and some of y'all have too, that you will notice some major differences in a short amount of time, right? The more we detox. Because it's going to be revealed where some of those metal pockets are. And if we're an ex-smoker, well, it's a no-brainer that, right, in our lung area, we're going to have some. And it will eventually work its way out. Now, if you are fit, you will go through a season, if you haven't already, and this is why I am big on the ice packing. It's cool down season, okay, for some of us. And so ice packing, it works wonders. You will notice the more you are able to, put ice on the places. If you feel, you'll feel it. Because as your body's salt level on the inside decreases, your autonomic nervous system will relax as well. Remember, salt is a stiffener. So, right, I mean, it's a necessary electrolyte in a certain amount, but in excess, it's a stiffener, which is why you'll feel some stiffness. And why I told y'all, take it easy. Watch how you're turning. Okay? It's not eggshell. No, you're not walking on eggshell. You're just aware, being vigilant and aware always. Because as humans, we start to feel better. Because I know when I had my burger, got some fresh animal fat in me, okay, and protein, and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, yes, Heavenly Father, I know, but I still got to take it easy. Okay? I was like, yeah, we're feeling like 1,000%. I was like, yeah, but that's all right. That's all right. We're not done yet. And we are going to learn to always be mindful of how we maneuver. Because once we get that level of awareness, we're not going to lose it. Oh, the enemy would like for us to, but that's too bad. God is in full control. So we learned that, yeah. All right, so just please use that discernment. I am not telling anybody to avoid necessary treatments or what have you if it's needed. But for what Chris was asking about as a symptom, a common symptom of RF poisoning, be a little bit of foaming at the mouth. Yeah, that's a normal response to a toxin. It's a mild one. So if that's all, and you're not alone, because like I shared with you that I had some stuff going on for a good majority of my life. So I thought it was normal, but it's not. We know that now. Waking up with a bunch of gunk in the mouth, that's not normal. So I know that now. Now y'all do. That it shouldn't be like that. But if you do get a hold of some toxin while you're detoxing, and that happens, if it's mild and it goes away on its own, that you're fine. Okay? That's just another way, when you think about it, that is another way that your body is kind of like rejecting, it's getting rid of. So you spit it out. It's all right. And that's why I wanted to bring that up about the water. My suggestion would be, I think it has to be listed public somehow. I believe it by law. I know here in the U.S., we have water boards, and the stuff that they do to our water is supposed to be documented. Okay? So that's the only thing I can think to check out in your area is if you have something like that, a water board, or it's a place where they keep the records of what they do to the water to treat it. I guarantee you that no, not everything that they put in the water goes on there, I'm sure. And so I will continue to look. I've got my toxicology book, the big green one. I've got it open. And so I'm going to continue to leaf through it and see if there are specific metals that cause that for you. Okay, so hang tight. I will get back to you on that. I have to go through the whole, there's several chapters for all the different metals. So it might take me a little bit, but I'll get it. And I'll, if I can just get at least 3 for you that would be the most likely, that's what we'll get. Okay, because I know as human beings, once we know what, once we know how, once we know why, exactly, we're like, we get closure, right? So I get it. Absolutely, 100%. Yep. Yep, the treatment is bad or worse than the cure for the Did the gunk in my throat affect my sleep? No, that's the thing. Yeah, it never did. It did not. Because it never laid in the throat. Yeah, it never laid in the throat. Because listen, God, the only thing I could figure is because I would have to change pillowcases more often. That's all. Because it came out. Yeah, that way. So there you go. The Lord did not allow it to build up there. Oh, while I was sleeping, the mouth got open enough for it to drain. So there you go. And so that became like my normal for many years. And so when I got here and I wasn't doing that, I was like, okay. And then when it did do that one morning, I said, oh, yay. And God said, no. He said, that's not normal. Oh. So he's like, that's just when the detox started to pick up a little bit more. That's all. For our body to get rid of the excess. And so you will also notice during the detox that certain muscle function, certain areas of the body will return to normal. Yes! They will. And that's why we don't have to force nothing that's going to happen naturally. That's the good news in God's reality. Is that we don't have to force nothing that's going to happen naturally. So there you go. I wanted to bring y'all those tips and what to look for, and then also to make sure that disclaimer is out there, because we don't want y'all. If something is severe enough, please, by all means, ask God and do what you got to do. Okay, but that's why I wanted to be clear again as to what we're referring to with the RF detoxing journey that we're on. It's just basically what we're going to experience are similars, minor strains and sprain that we're not a stranger to. Okay, and then in my circumstance, just some bruising. And because of the internal heat index being higher than it should be, ice packing. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you. I have these little suckers in the freezer, right? And so where do I put it? Well, one spot that gets really, really hot, right there, about midway where we're at. We started down low, and so we're working our way up. Woo, boy, I know that's hot. I feel that cold, right? There's that. And then where necessary, if you've got, okay, I know I have a small bruise right here. That's what I'm talking about, 10, 15 minutes at a time. That helps the metal molecules shrink so that they'll get out of the body. And the bruise, if you have one, will heal quicker. And why else do we put ice on those things, right? Right. So if you have an area of the body during this detox, by all means, ice pack. Put it on there for a few minutes. Because that helps. Because those metal molecules act as a plug for normal circulation. After all, what is a bruise? It's a plug. And so the area of the body, I'll tell you this, I know for myself and for many of us, if the salt levels are high enough, most of the heat is going to be in the area where your body's elimination system is. Okay, that's where most of your heat will be. So by all means, yes, ice pack that baby. Oh, you'll notice the difference after a couple of days of doing that. Yes, you will. Absolutely. And so there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I said it's cool down season. It's cool down season. For some of us. But you can even do the ice packing. You know what? If you are just now starting the detox, you may not notice your body's excessive heat yet. As soon as you do, though, I would say at least the first couple of rounds, as the level of salt on the inside decreases a little bit, and your body eliminates a little at a time. Remember that. So I would say after no more than the third round, you should be able to detect where heat is the highest. Put some ice on there. Nothing wrong with that. Right? Cool it off. 10 to 15 minutes at a time. Or however long you can stand it. Okay? I mean, really, because it's important. That's all part of the self-care during detoxing, okay? Yeah. Oh my goodness. We don't want to leave that part out. Oh no. All right, that self-care, got to take care of ourselves. We are taking care of this temple for the Holy Spirit. So if you need to, sit down and soak them feet. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a good self-care right there. And you can massage your calves while you're there. All right? Sure. Nothing wrong with that. But you do want to take it one day at a time. I know. As you start to feel better. And then you'll find some things that you do that work for you. And when you find something that works for you, what do we say? That's right, you're going to want to do more of it. And so when I found that ice packing works, boy, let me tell you, let me do more of it. It does, because it helps. That's right. And so that's why each time we do that and more toxins get out of the body, get out there, and those sirens trying to manipulate the autonomic nervous system, the goosebump effect, which is actually a slight electrocution from the sounds, it will be very minor until it finally goes away. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It will go away. Remember, this is my third go round. Right? And I know because God revealed to me, and I was asking him, I said, okay, the first detox, the second one, like I shared with y'all in the beginning, was because they were putting salt in my stuff at that toxic workplace. And I could tell, I could feel. And then they messed up. Oh, real quick. That Jezebel that did that, when she messed up and put too much salt in my water, I went upstairs to find her doing what all narcissists do when they know, the gig's up. Back and forth that office, trying to find some gluten-free something food to try and love bomb me with. I was like, I see what you're doing. Anyhow, oh yeah, classic. When they know they messed up, they want to try to hurry up and see if they can't love bomb, distract. Because how did I know it was her? Well, she was the only one in there when I went up to the bathroom and came back. She was still the only one in there. Anyhow, so I asked God about the first detox that we did when I first got on the blood type diet. And he said, well, I wasn't aware of the ANS at that time. And then also, I didn't realize that because I was working out. That's right. And things like that. It's a little bit different because I was on the blood type diet. I was working out. He told me, he said, your body did not have enough fatty tissue during that first detox. But the symptoms of the detox I recognize, like the heat coming out of the top of the head, bottom of the feet, right? I didn't have this kind of fluctuation during the first one because I didn't have the fatty tissue. But the metamolecules, well, I didn't have a lot, but the metamolecules that were in the body from being electrocuted, if you will, like they would just try to work their way out naturally and get rid of the body's internal excessive heat from the radio frequency itself. So that's what's different. Because this time, I play a role in deviating from the blood type diet as to why I've got the familiar sensations of excessive salt in the body. And then, of course, the inadvertent ingestion, if you will, of other things that are a no-no for the diet. Let's face it, a lot of no-nos. Okay, a lot of no-nos. Human. And so now, yeah, we've started this movement for a reason, because it is important for healthier living. Because we really have that choice, you guys. We really do. The world doesn't want you to think that. So the world wants you to think that it's more expensive to eat healthier. No, it's not. Again, for whoever needs that. Right? Let me show you again. Yep, what I got at supposed to be one of the higher end stores, so to speak, according to society. But yeah, I have it right here. And you can see, okay, my red bean, kale, dry bean, and I'm trying to think, zucchini and squash, okay? It's not. It depends on how you do it. It's not more expensive to eat healthier. I've got the proof right here. It's in how you do it. And of course, you always, are you the only one eating, or are you feeding the family? I mean, a lot of factors in play, but I'm just giving y'all that as an example of one of the many lies that we're told, okay, on this world stage. The world wants you to think that it's more expensive to eat healthier. No, it's not. So, to give you that again. Yeah, it's not. It is actually, I found out, more expensive to eat the junk. I did. I found that out because I'm the one that did a bunch of no-nos. And God revealed that to me. He said, you know that when you were splurging, you were spending a bit more on food. Oh, yeah, that's true. I was. So we have to keep that in mind. Trick of the enemy to get people to eat unhealthy so they spend more. By convincing them that they're not spending more, by lying to them about it being more expensive to eat healthier. Oh, it's our choice. Again, it's in how you do it. What are the healthier foods you're eating? So in my cabinet, to give y'all an example, in my cabinet up there, I've got unsalted beef chicken broth, unsalted, no salt added vegetable broth. I've got a big container of oatmeal. I've got a bag of prunes. I've got two different kinds. I got the golden and the regular raisin. I've got walnuts. I've got unsalted rice cakes. I've got unsalted brown rice crackers. I've got what's called the Laura bars with just dates, almond, and unsweet bananas. I'm trying to think if I missed anything up there. Oh, gluten-free breadcrumb. It's like a panko with approved ingredients for the diet. And then in the other cabinet, I've got no salt added and low sodium tuna. Bag of rice, dry beans are over there. And let's see, diced tomatoes with Italian herbs, no salt added. Tomato paste, no salt added. Some healthy choice chicken and rice soup. A little high on the sodium count, so we're not going to eat those right away. We'll wait until we're able to tolerate a bit more. And yeah, and then my dry bean, and then of course my gluten-free flour, tapioca starch, baking stuff over there. And then the cupboard, I have on the bottom there, I've got large containers of the Italian seasoning, garlic powder, parsley, hot pepper flake. And then next cabinet over, I have a little stepping thingy with my different spices: onion powder, cayenne pepper, clove, dill weed, mustard, mustard seed, dry mustard seed, and coriander, cumin, turmeric, chili powder. You get the idea. So in my fridge, I have my homemade soups, veggie soups that also can be a juice. The greens. I actually have 3 different kinds of the green superfood in there right now. And so we're working on all 3, and then almost done with the portobello mushroom one, but we've got more to make for that. And I've got those. And I've also got gluten-free almond flour wraps. I've got some pineapple. I've got some plums, strawberries, blueberries, thing of eggs, of course, and leftover steak, cooked veggies, which is zucchini, squash, carrots, broccoli. I've got the stuff for lettuce, tomato, onion. Got approved cheeses, except one, but God told me go ahead for the calcium. And then there is an eggplant. You know, you get the idea, right? And so none of that, when I go to replenish to make one of my green superfoods, I get a 2 quarts full. And you saw in US dollar, not even $22. So it just depends, again, on how we do it. So I just wanted to share with you all a little bit of my inventory on how we did the dietary reset. And then, there's a bag of unsalted sweet potato chips up there too. Yeah, for a lot of, the healthy veggies and fruit. And cooking for yourself saves, yes, it does. You can make up a batch of stew or soup that will last for several days. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's one of the things that I had to unlearn. So whoever needs this tip, here you go. Here you go. Yeah, I'm not going to waste them ice packs while they're out here. Oh, that's hot. My body is hot right there. Ooh. I'm talking about heat index, y'all. So I'm going to put that sucker right there. Okay, there we go. I can feel the heat coming off of that because there's some bruises there. So, yeah. Anyhow, but I just want to give y'all, because we lead by example. Okay, we're leading by example. So I'm not going to sit here and give y'all tips and advice and not be myself. It's just that simple. We're not to be hypocrites. Oh, Jesus knows. Oh, that's the other thing these narcissists try to do, y'all. Chosen one, the narcissist will always try to make us look like a hypocrite. Oh, yeah, they will. Always try. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That Jezebel, she tried to do that by getting us to mix work and personal. Once I caught on to that, I was like, oh, no, you don't. And so that reminds me, because when I shared, that was the first step in how to deal with toxic coworkers at CHA Academy. And so I shared that, and she piped up and she goes, oh, I love that first step. Yeah, now I know why you do. Because she was trying to use it to try and make me look like a hypocrite. But you see, God steps in, y'all. I'm going to tell y'all, God steps in. When he steps in, like, now we know. We connect dots. So we got to remember that the evildoers, they will never make this kind of commitment. Okay? If they are conformed to this world, they will never make this type of commitment for healthier living. The one thing I want y'all to know too is that as they age, they will get physically weaker and weaker. Got an itch. They will. They get physically weaker. And you know, I remember it's just really something to witness with them, because as they age and they just get more insecure, it seems. It's like everything's a competition with them, right? And so I'm remembering the looks on their faces as I'm worried about, and I'm getting out there and getting my walk in and trying to stay in shape. And it's just the looks on their faces of not disdain, but just disappointment. And then them not being able to open certain things anymore because they don't have the strength. It's just, it really, yeah. God bringing that back to my remembrance for some reason. So stay tuned. There's a reason. Listen, there's a reason when God brings things back to our remembrance. There's a dot connection to be made somewhere. Yeah, because I know that the devil is obsessed with babies and then also physical strength. See, everything for the enemy, you all, is physical. Why do you think he targets the autonomic nervous system? Right? Because it's part of the physical. So it's like, okay, but he is obsessed with it. Which tells us that the enemy himself had obviously, oh, there it is. Thank you, Holy Spirit. All right. Spiritual and physical, right? Because the devil and his demon spirit cannot exist without a human host, right? So they, as the dark spirits, have no physical strength. When the demon spirit possess a biological being, the narcissist, they might have a little bit of physical strength until they start to age. Because to maintain any level of physical strength as we grow older, that's where the spiritual strength comes in. Because it's through spiritual strength that we will obtain physical strength. Remember how everything is manifested in the spiritual first, before. Okay? But because the narcissists are demonically possessed, remember God said they shall perish, right? That's part of how they perish. They once were younger and had physical strength, but because they don't have spiritual strength, the righteous spirit is the only one that has any kind of spiritual strength. Remember, the devil has no power, only the illusion thereof. And so that makes sense why the enemy is obsessed with physical strength, because he doesn't have any. Unless he has a human host who is young and fit and trim, and then as the human host starts to wither away, it loses that physical strength. That's how another way they perish. Yep, makes sense. Because it's in the spiritual that we go, all right, that's where our determination comes in, right? When we made that conscious decision to start this detox and do the dietary reset, we had said all in or not at all. There was no in between. And so God says, all right, you all in. Okay. That's in the spiritual first. Then we get to work. And we start to see, focusing on the internal, the external will follow. Never forget that. But whoever needs that reminder right there, because the enemy would love to trick you into giving up and giving in. Because if you're working out, don't expect to see results in 24 hours. Not going to work that way. Because I will share with you, we are, let's see. Yeah, we're finishing up our 3rd month. Okay, so in 3 months, 5 inches smaller. That may seem like, wow, but it took time. Every couple of weeks. Okay? So you want to be mindful of that. Because 3 months is a decent amount of time. Okay, it really is. Even though it's not that long. But it's because of that daily dedication, proper eating, ice packing where needed, self-care as needed, okay, and necessary, and just being mindful, making better choices for healthier living. So you go to the store and you'll see the enemy temptations all over the place, right? So I would tell y'all, again, for whoever needs this, if you find yourself at the store and you're starting to get hungry, yeah, see, the enemy knows that it gets more difficult to resist the enemy's temptation if you're at a store where there's food and you're getting hungry. Remind yourself that that's a temptation from the devil and that the hunger will pass enough till you've got a meal planned already, right? For example, just the other day, I had to do it too. Yeah, y'all are not alone. Because it was approaching it was a little bit past my lunchtime, but that's okay. I had some snacks before going to the store. But as I was getting ready to finish my shopping trip, I started to, okay, now we're getting a little hungry. And so the smell of that over salted rotisserie chicken was tempting, right? And then I remembered, that's way too much sodium in that sucker. Like they overdid, right? I looked at let me tell you. And I thought to myself, we're not doing that ever again. So not only that, but I knew that I had the hamburger meat that we went there for to get back here and make a little on the almond wrap to make a little bit of a personal pan pizza with that beef, onion, and peppers. Okay? So I already knew I got a meal plan. I got the meat I need right here in this basket. Let's go check out. So I had to remind myself, I already got a meal plan. So stop looking at those bags of chips. Go check out. So we have to do that. We've got the power to do that, y'all. Remember, God shared his power with us. That's powerful to be able to do that. Oh, yeah. Because we're starting to get a little hungry while we're at the store. But we're like, wait a minute. Hold up a second. I got a meal plan. That's why I came to the store. I need to get this beef. Along with a few other items, but you get the point. So if you know, even if you didn't go to the store to get something for a meal that you planned, you already had it, but you needed to go and get a few other things to go with some other stuff, but you already know what your lunch plan is. You go to the store and that happens, just remind yourself, wait a minute, I already got lunch at the house or wherever it is. I already got lunch. Don't pick up them chips. All my choices. We have to be conscious of them. Okay? Oh, yeah. So there you go. For whoever needs that, somebody needed it. Oh, yeah. Talk about that's why I said heat index. Oh gosh. Well, I had to clarify and make sure y'all understood when I said that my body was hot. I was talking about the heat index. I put some ice there. Oh my goodness. It's from the excess salt. We're detoxing. But yeah, the bitterness of narcs as they get older. Oh gosh. Say that again. Yeah, the bitterness of them. And they do get more bitter as they age. That we know. Yep. Spiritual health gives us the physical health. That's it right there. Well, I was talking about how got to have that spiritual first, and then it'll manifest in the physical. That's exactly right. Spiritual health gives physical health. Well, okay. There you go. That's why we hear a lot of people say the age is just a number. Because, yeah, I just turned 46 recently, and I don't feel it. Mm-mm. Not even with these things going on with the detox. Mm-mm. So I'm with you. That's the thing. Chosen one age gracefully. Narcissists do not. They get more bitter, more onerous, if you will, more like so set in their ways that it becomes even more their way or the highway. So there you go, everybody. Some additional tips and things and information about how radio frequency is used to manipulate the autonomic nervous system. And I'm going to continue to bring you all this stuff. And again, just like with the detox tips, all of the stuff that we are learning about the ANS. Oh, I got notes. Okay, y'all, I got tons of notes. And so we're going to be bringing all of that to you all in a nice, neat little package as well. Yeah, because this stuff, man, when God reveals, he reveals. Yeah, when God reveals, we don't ignore. Oh, no. So there you go. This is all for healthier living, really. Trauma healing, spiritual growth. Yeah, to make better choices for the necessary lifestyle changes. After all, in order to be living healthier, we are going to have to make better choices. No other way around it, right? Because I found out real quick that you can be out there speed walking all you want to, trying to burn that fat. But if you still piling in Doritos and thing on the no, right? Junk food, if you still piling in all that junk food and that highly salted, already cooked stuff, yes, you're not going to see nothing. You're not going to do the opposite for me. I'm like, okay. And so we got to make conscious decisions, make better choices, because we have the choices. The world would like to think that we don't, but we do. We have a lot more choices in God's reality than the enemy could ever imagine. We really, truly do. So there you go, everybody. We are at the hour and a half mark. All right. So as always, if you've got any questions, everybody, don't hesitate to reach out via email. If you are experiencing, a minor symptom and you would like to know whether or not that's a normal part of the detox, send me an email. All right, send me an email. Because remember, I've been through it a couple of times already. So I can answer that for you. So there you go. And if you leave additional questions, insights, other good stuff in the comments, we'll get to those as soon as possible. Another thank you to all who are waiting for a response. We are working on getting caught up with all of this. Okay. So, seriously, it takes a little while, but we're getting there. A little at a time, right? One day at a time, a little at a time. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Truth Seeker podcast on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequency poisoning for healthier living. Trauma healing and spiritual growth occur here and, yes, at CHAAcademyBTBW.com with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true techniques, and more. The link to the Academy is listed below. Some of you all may need to copy and paste the link to view what CHAAcademyBTBW.com offers to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.